Algebra as it's used in calculus. So we're asked here to simplify x cubed minus 1 squared times 3 times x squared plus 1 all squared times 2x minus x squared plus 1 to the third power times 2 times x cubed minus 1 times 3x squared. All of that is being divided by x cubed minus 1 all to the fourth. We can see here that we have all of this information is being multiplied together, and then it's subtracted from this information on the right. All of this in yellow is one single term, and all of this in green is also one single term. Within this term on the left, we have a factor of x cubed minus 1. In fact, we have two of them because it's x cubed minus 1 squared. In the right-hand term, we also have a factor of x cubed minus 1. In our left and in our right terms, we also have x squared plus 1. In fact, we have two of them in common because we have it squared here and cubed here, which means that there's at least two that are being multiplied together. In fact, there are three. We have a common factor of 3. We have a common factor of 2. And we have a common factor of x. So all of these can be factored out. And so we can tell that in our new equivalent expression, we have x cubed minus 1. We have the 3's. We have x squared plus 1. We have 2. And we have x. Okay, so remember that originally this left-hand term that was in yellow and this right-hand term that was in green, we can see that now this box on our second line in yellow is our only first term from this original term. And in green, this is what's left from our old term in green. Okay, so we only have x cubed minus 1 minus x squared plus 1 times x. Okay, and so the reason that that's happened is because we can see that in our original first line we had x cubed minus 1 squared. Okay, this was all being squared, and then in our right hand term x cubed minus 1 was only to the first power. So that means that there was 1 left over, and so this is kind of the residual, you know, the leftovers. It's there and it's still going to be in that first term. For our right term here, our x squared plus 1 times x, we can see that regarding the x, that there was only a single x, and here there was x squared, which is why we still have a single x over in the right-hand term. And then we had x squared plus 1 to the third power in the right term, but in the left term we had x squared plus 1 squared. So 1 will still be left over here, and so that's where that comes from. Okay, so moving on to our next step. Okay, we're going to distribute this, we're going to expand this term on the right. And so we have x cubed minus 1 minus x cubed minus 1, all, I'm sorry, minus x, not minus 1, all here for this right-hand factor now. And when we look at our next step, we're going to simplify by reducing these, or really this is combining our like terms. And so we have negative x minus 1 because our negative x was there and our minus 1 was there. Okay, so now for our next step, we're going to factor out a negative, which is common here. It's a common factor of negative 1. And then also we can see that we have an x cubed minus 1 in the numerator, and we have an x cubed minus 1 to the fourth in the denominator. So these are common, so that means that we can reduce these factors. And we would do that by taking one of these extra factors and writing it out, and then we can see that this has been reduced. And so this is equivalent to the quantity x squared plus 1 squared, times the quantity negative 6x times the quantity x plus 1, all being divided by the quantity x cubed minus 1, all raised to the third power.